Friends, today's NRI Samay program from Los Angeles brought to you commercial free by listeners like you. Your generous donations make possible for us to stay commercial free, and today's show is pre-recorded. If you have a question for the guest, please send an email to nrisamay@gmail.com. We will follow up with the guest and find the answer for you. Thank you for your support.
So welcome to NRI Samay, NRI Samay weekend shows. Like every weekend, this weekend we have an incredible guest. We have an RTA activist from Pune, Vinitha Deshmukh with us. Thanks, Vinitha ji, for joining us on the NRI Samay weekend shows.
Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. It's a pleasure ours. So, Vinitha ji, I'll directly get into the point. So right now in India, we are going through our 2014 general elections. And one of the biggest concerns is, the urban cities are kind of lagging behind in percentage of voting. If you take the example of Pune, so we have 57% of voting in Pune. So we are just wondering, what are the things that are happening in the urban cities, what might be the reasons for the low turnout?
Right. No, just to correct you, actually the voter turnout in Pune was around 53%. However, last time it was 46%. However, it would have been much more. But for the fact that very strangely, in Pune Loksabha constituency alone, 4,23,000 voters' names have been deleted, and which accounts to 24% of the voters, and allegedly bogus voters have been included. So what has happened is this time there was so much of enthusiasm in many urban cities, and Pune is included in that. There were hundreds and hundreds who went to get their voters' name registered. There were many who checked their names as late as February 2014 on the website. And despite that, hundreds of thousands were turned back when they went to the polling centers. Now, this is very shocking. Otherwise, the voter turnout would have definitely crossed 70%. This has put a spammer into the very objectivity, fairness of the election process, and it is a worrying factor for which we are doing intense campaigning for this issue. And one of the demands is that, we need to again declare a day wherein those who were wrongly deleted should be able to vote before the election process ends before May 16th, or then the Pune results should be held back till such time that the voters who could not vote for no fault of yours come out and vote.
So it is like 25% of voters, Pune voters, were deleted in March, and these are the voters who were present in the February edition, but they were deleted in the March, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not checked that the entire 4 lakh were present in that list in February 14th. However, there are many cases. So what we are requesting the election commissioner is, the Pune collector, who is the district election officer, that he has the suo motu powers to revoke all the deletion orders of the election registration officers. Now, these election registration officers, or EROs as they are called, they are the ones who go through the process of inclusion and deletion of the names. Now, and then these names are divided into various categories when they are deleted. One of them is due to death or transfer and so on. So we are requesting that they should restore the entire deletion list, and then begin their investigation for the assembly elections, and till then declare a date so that the voters can vote again. And also we are asking them that all the voters who voted in the Pune Municipal Corporation elections in 2012, they should be also included and allowed to vote. And hundreds and thousands who had their voting cards, official voting cards, were also turned back because of the silly system that even if you have a voter's card, you've got to be in the polling booth manager's list. And there has been an absolute mess. So we think there is either a total system failure deliberately, or there is some political conspiracy.
Oh, okay. So as you already went to the Pune collector, so what is his response and what they are trying to do for it?
Oh, the response is like they don't care. What they say is that, oh, your name is deleted. Please come and file a complaint. Now, we are saying then when there is such a mass deletion, you should suo to take some action. And when a citizen went to the High Court last fortnight, the Maharashtra government had the cheek to say that only 1,300 people have registered their complaints for deletion, and that is a very small number. And by the way, even Mumbai and Nashik has undergone this huge voter deletion, and across Maharashtra, probably between 75 to 80 lakh names have been deleted. All those names have been put up on the website ceo.mah.gov.in, and somebody needs to sit and analyze as to the exact number, because the PDF files have been put up there.
Okay, so basically, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so then, what I decided, that the Right to Information Act is a very powerful weapon for the citizens in India. So I took cases, like I went from a micro level. I took a citizen, Mr. Sharad Farke, who has been voting from the Kasba constituency of Pune since the last 40 years. And suddenly this time he finds that his and wife's name has been deleted. So there is a procedure. There's a system on how to get into the voters list, as well as a system to how to get out of it. Now, to get out of the voting list, the voter must fill Form 8. Otherwise, the Election Commission has no right to delete his name. Or else, if the election office is undertaking a house-to-house survey, then if they find that this particular person has shifted residence, they have to serve notice to him, they have to call him for a hearing, and they have to put up a public notice in the newspaper. So I went with Mr. Sharad Farke to Mamledar Kacheri, where his name was enlisted, and sat for 12 hours for 2 days, asking for documents under Section 4 of the RTI Act. And when we procured the documents, we found that the notice was a concocted one, the hearing was a concocted one, and his final deletion was also concocted. So taking these documents, we went to the police station to lodge a FIR against this illegal and fraudulent deletion. And could you believe it, that the senior police inspector actually first went to the accused, whom we had named, the election registration officer, and he took a statement from her that she has undergone the procedure legally and officially, and then he comes to the office and tells us that she has already given a statement. So I said, oh my God, you not even filed the FIR, and you go and get a clearance from the accused. So this is the kind of government machinery is like totally in nexus with each other, and the citizen is left completely helpless. But we are not giving up. Actor Amol Palekar and his wife, both their names also have been deleted. Now she is going to the High Court. She's intervened in a case in the High Court because Arun Bhatia was one of the Loksabha candidates for Pune. He approached the High Court, but the High Court said that, look, you are a vested interest party since you are a candidate. So Sandhya Gokhale and Amol Palekar have intervened in that petition. And Mr. Sharad Farke, the citizen I talked about, where we went to lodge the FIR, he has also a party to this petition, which is going to be heard tomorrow. And so let us see what happens. Otherwise, our crusade is going to continue, because this cannot be tolerated. This is, a silent form of fascism. First you just give money to buy votes, and now you cut off those votes which, probably you don't want. It is that serious.
That's very true. And actually, it looks like this is a problem everywhere, because we had a complaint from Hyderabad where one woman, actually, her complaint is, she went to polling booth and she could not find her name in the voter list. So she called the returning officer. And the returning officer, he logged at her and said, enjoy your holiday, and he disconnected the phone. So in these situations, what she can do?
No, that's what I'm saying. She's completely helpless. She has to just return and cry. That's the, so as now we have found out that it is not, you cannot clean politics just by bringing in good record politicians. You can only cleanse the system once the entire electoral process is transparent. It is foolproof. It cannot be tampered with, and the citizens can get into the voters list very easily, and through technology this is not difficult, but just that there is no political will, and in the law is made in such a way that all these election officers are properly protected. So you have to really we are finding ways and means on how to get our fundamental right, which under Article 14 says, talks of justice, under 19 says freedom of expression. We have been strangulated, we have been denied both, and we are just running up the wall to try and pin them down.
Friends, NRI Samay is a non-profit independent alternate media from Los Angeles, USA, which brings positive stories from grassroots activists from all corners of India and across the world. Among others, we focus on stories of need for equality, inspiration, environment, health, and politics. NRI Samay does not rely on corporate funding, and thus our shows are commercial free. We only rely on your donations. Please consider donating to NRI Samay, and all donations are kept transparent on nrisamay.com.
Oh, that's sad. So there is one more media article about the Pune elections where it said that in one of the polling booths, when people were trying to vote for any other party, but it is actually taking for the Congress. Was it true?
Yes, it's absolutely true. It was in one of the stiff upper lip neighborhoods of Pune, but the people there it is a very highly educated area, so the people there were so persistent on voting that after about 20-30 votes were cast and they found that it was going to a particular party, immediately the election office came, sealed the machine and put in another one. And I must say that people had to stand for 3 to 4 hours to vote again, but they all waited. That was the kind of enthusiasm. Oh. And they are, it's all watered down.
So is this the case of intentional fraudulent or, unknowing the machine failure?
Well, that is very difficult to establish right now. So I want to know that Atishay Infotech Private Limited, which is Bhopal based, is the outsourcing agency which is in public-private partnership with the government of India. And very interestingly, unlike in other states, it is only in Maharashtra that they make the final electoral rolls with photographs in Marathi language. So I need to know what role has this Atishay Infotech Private Limited played. We RTI activists have got together to fight this. One of my colleagues, Dr. Anupam Saraf, has put in RTI applications asking what is the role of this Atishay Infotech, and there has been total silence. And it is time, because once you are in private-public partnership, you are a government agent, and therefore you come under RTI. So we have to, literally diagnose various aspects before we come to a conclusion of whether it was a conspiracy, whether it was a system failure, but whether it is either of both. The voter has been denied the right to vote, and for that we need to take a campaign in a big way.
Yeah. So as the election has been conducted already and we have 24% of the voter deletion, so what is the best case that we can expect at this time? Because the results are going to be out on May 16th. So how optimistic we are about this, and what is the best situation that we can expect out of this?
Yeah, well, initially BJP and other parties, they made a lot of noise about this voters deletion list, and now suddenly everything is quiet. So I believe that the political parties are waiting and watching the election results. And if it happens that the present government's candidate gets elected, then they would go to the Supreme Court. But if the opposition party wins by even a thin and slender margin, they're just going to be very happy, they're going to celebrate, and they're going to forget that thousands and thousands of citizens were denied their fundamental right to vote. So politically, I just feel that the result is definitely not going to be fair. But I should not be worried about the result. It is the political parties who should be worrying about it. But they are playing politics by having their own self-vested interest. And it doesn't matter if they win by one vote. A win is a win. And then they will lazily find out whether they would do anything to completely transform this, horrible mess of the electoral rolls, which seems to be have been done deliberately in the sense that, can you believe it, that it has been written in the People's Representatives Act that the electoral roll should be alphabetical wise. You will never find it alphabetical wise. You will never find the correct addresses. And in a survey conducted by Vote for Better India, which is, Sri Ravi Shankar's Art of Living social outfit, out of every 1,000 voters, finally only 60 get into the voters list. And there are many reasons, because they are stumbling blocks which are done because of a pathetic organization called the Election Commission. And that, I think, is very dangerous to the country, that when Election Commission is the most sensitive department, it should be the most sensitive outfit of a country. It is just left like a unattended, negligent body wherein the election registration officers are the poor teachers across the towns and villages and cities who have to do their teaching work, and then after they finish their school, they have to carry on this voter registration. Is it possible? So it is very sad for the country which claims to be IT savvy and going to be the superpower sometime in the world. Come on, get your electoral process right first.
So, do you think that is there any improvement in the entire electoral process compared to the 2009? Are we actually moving in the right direction?
Well, what has changed is that the indifference of people has changed. People, especially in urban centers, they want to be a part of the electoral process. I think that is the biggest change of mindset. As far as the election office is concerned, I must say that every polling booth was fantastically organized. Unlike 2009, I'm talking of Pune. Every booth, we had alert booth managers, very helpful to the citizens. So that mindset has also changed. Now, what needs to change is transparency. We need to, what's the point of even getting the best, people of this country as our political leaders when you'll be denied the right to vote? So I think that the Election Commission may have changed just a wee bit. It has to totally rejuvenate itself. It has to make the process of voters registration simple. I mean, like, I have a PAN card, so all my documents are with the government. I have a mobile, all my documents are with the government. I have my driving license, the documents are there with the government. Why is it that again I have to go and get into the voters list and then be deleted as per the whims and fancies of somebody? So why can't just a PAN card be a voter's ID card? So I think the government needs to think of a foolproof system, and still a system which is very simple and where the 100% registration above the 18 years should be there in every constituency.
Yeah, so actually we are getting even near to the Maharashtra State Assembly elections. If I'm not wrong, the elections will be held in November, December for Maharashtra.
Right.
So
yeah.
So do you think that we will be able to solve this, we will be able to get those 24% voters who were deleted earlier for those elections? Are we moving in that direction?
Well, presently the election process is still going on. So there is, and like I told you, the collector's office, the election commission office, everybody has been totally indifferent to this mass massacre of the voters' deletion list. So I don't think that they will wake up suddenly and urgently. But yes, when we get after them, when some high court order comes, when citizens come together in large numbers, then maybe with that pressure it may happen. So I feel sad that each time it is a citizen who has to raise his voice, even if he's in the right, and the government will just turn its back and just get pushed only if it is pushed to the wall very badly.
Okay. So
I see that. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, so I just feel that even if the district election officer, which is the collector, just undertakes the suo motu cancellation of deletions and puts it back in the list, then it will be a quick way of people, availing of the facility of voting for the assembly elections.
So, what do you think that we as a citizens can do? I mean, what should be our right step to make sure that we get those 24% voters back into the voter list? What are the citizens that we can do? What's your advice?
Well, yeah, my advice is that if every citizen whose name is deleted goes and puts a complaint, we had been having a big campaign, but we got very poor response, that if your name is deleted, go to the election office, write down the complaint, take a receipt and come home. Now, if every day, if you have 5,000 citizens also going there to lodge their complaint, it's going to be a big pressure point for the government. But today you just have 10, 12 people going there, so they're not bothered. So what I feel, that I know that this time it is not the citizens' fault. I know that they have even postponed their holidays because they wanted to vote on April 17. However, still the pressure has to be kept up, and please come out in large numbers, go to your election office, file in your complaint. It takes maximum 10 minutes to do that.
Okay.
So, and that's not difficult.
So what do you mean by the election office? Will it be like by ward-wise or constituency-wise, or do they need to go to the Pune collectorate office?
Yeah. Well, that's also a good question, because the collector announced that the central election office in Pune, which is in Zilla Parishad, so people should go there and lodge their complaint. However, after a week, they are being sent to their own constituency election centers. So I would appeal to the people that they should go to their election centers of their own constituency. Secondly, like I am doing, that every day I do inspection of files under Section 4. I take 2-3 citizens and get the details, and then build up the case to file FIR or to give a representation to the Election Commission. So I have also announced that whoever needs help for inspection of files, I will accompany them and go there. So there has to be multi-level pressure, lodging FIRs, doing inspection of files, lodging your own complaint for your voter deletion list. This could bring about pressure on the Election Commission.
Friends, NRI Samay is a non-profit independent alternate media from Los Angeles, USA, which brings positive stories from grassroots activists from all corners of India and across the world. If you have any interesting episode you would like NRI Samay to cover, we will be happy to do so. NRI Samay would also like to encourage amateur journalists who have a flair for highlighting current events. You can be part of our citizen journalist team. You could cover an important event, interview victims of an atrocity, or document an inspirational story. The idea is to have a mix of experience throughout all parts of the world, preferably supported by an audio or a video clip of your story to be aired, which will be the curtain raiser. You can also submit your opinion articles on important topics to NRI Samay. We will be happy to put it on nrisamay.com in the opinion section. All your work will be credited only to you. And if you're interested, please send an email to nrisamay@gmail.com.
Okay, so the best weapon for citizen now is to go and file a complaint and try to put the pressure on the Election Commission to do. But we may not be able to. Yes, sorry, go ahead.
No, and of course, I hope that the High Court order really says something about this. then legal intervention. I really hope the judiciary could help us, or the citizen pressure could help us. But we must not keep quiet. The point is that even today, despite the corruption, portrayed by Anna Hazare, taken up by Arvind Kejriwal, the citizens do not react. I say that only if you're angry with the injustice done to you, then you will do something about it. But if you just keep quiet, and I always say that at home, you never suffer injustice. You will fight with your husband, you'll throw your in-laws out, you'll scold your children. But when you come out of the house, you are suffering every injustice of the sarkar. And that is the reason why they just get away with murder. So I feel every citizen must be angry about this.
Yeah. I hope, the more and more citizens go and complain about it, so that election commission takes a note of it. So is this the case with rest of the India, or is this, I'm talking about the huge, like 24% is really a big number. So is this the case with the rest of India, or the rest of India is much better?
Rest of India is much better. Maharashtra has been the main problem, and in fact in the rest of India, most of the places you had over 70% to 75% voter turnout, which is simply magnificent. And it is only in Maharashtra that this problem has occurred. Even in Mumbai, there are 6 lakh voters' names missing. So there is definitely some problem here, and like I told you, that we need to investigate Atishay Infotech Private Limited, which only does the final electoral list in Marathi for Maharashtra. And although it is associated with other states for several other responsibilities of the election commission, only in Maharashtra it is responsible for the final electoral list. So has it been a systems failure? Has it been a deliberate attempt? These are 2 huge questions that we citizens only need to prod and find out.
So if we have to actually check with that software company, so what do you think that the questions can be? Like, what are the questions that you think that they can ask this company?
Yes. I would really firstly request you and the NRI community to help me out in this. I want to know what is the role of this Atishay Infotech Private Limited, and what is the functioning? How do they make the rules? How is the possibility of a systems failure, of any, conspiracy theory? Like I'm not alleging, but the opposition party leaders allege that, 300 rupees were paid per deletion. Now, this is not what I have proof of, but this is what has been told on the radio and TV by the opposition leader. So, unless we know what this Atishay Infotech is involved in, we just cannot establish. Like, I think it needs a lot of IT software experts to explore as to what can happen, what are the possibilities. Maybe that has not happened, but what are the possibilities? That will be of great help.
Yeah, that's true. So actually, we are actually getting close to our 30 minutes mark. So one final question, it's more on the lines of the low voter turnout in Pune. As you are mentioning that some of the reason could be because of this voter deletion and the disappointment among the early voters who went for voting. So is there any other reason that you can think of for this low voting? Because the rest of the country, as you mentioned, polled really high, like 70 to 80%. But especially like urban places such as Hyderabad had only 52% voting. Chennai has fairly low, then 55%. Mumbai did the same thing. So do you think that is there any other reason for the low voting in this metropolitan or cosmopolitan cities?
Yeah. That is quite true that, the urban cities have not registered more than 53-55%. And yes, so which it really means that there is indifference. And I don't have the statistics right now, but last time's in Pune statistics, I think nearly 65% of the voters between the age of 18 to 45 did not vote, and only 3% of the senior citizen population of 3-4 lakh voted last time. So this time, I feel that there was a large turnout of the first-time voters, but I have really not done my homework and have not analyzed. But generally, I feel that still, because I was contesting for the Loksabha elections, and that time also during my campaigning, and then of course I withdrew, but that time also during my campaigning I realized that the educated fraternity, they only discuss, talk, analyze and criticize in the drawing rooms and in parties over a glass of whiskey, but when it comes to the actual participation as a voter, they just turn back. And I've had families wherein out of the 5 members, although they had the voters card, only 2 of them went. So the reason I would summarize largely is that still there is indifference amongst the educated class, and unless and until they come out in large numbers, and I feel then for that voting should be made compulsory, then only who the real leader of India should be in every constituency will be correctly voted.
That's really true. I mean, the indifference has been going up, and I
Yes.
really hope the educated or literate class will come out and vote more. And, it's really appreciable that, you're taking the cause of this voting rights or deletion of the voters to the RTI,
Right.
and reaching out to the collectorate office and courts. And to really hope that, we get succeeded in this and get back the 24%, rolling back into the polls.
Right.
Thanks a lot for your time. And do you have any final message for our NRIs?
I only would like to request the NRIs that if they also put pressure through Twitter, Facebook, email groups, and write to the Election Commission to say how saddened they are that when there was people's enthusiasm, there should have been such a large deletion in the list. I think that would really help in building pressure. 2, please help us in finding out what could have gone wrong with Atishay Infotech. And third is that please support us in various ways, whether, what my ultimate dream is that I have realized that unless and until the electoral process is 100% transparent and 100% correct, we are not going to get a good India. So whether they can help us form a forum, where we would require some finances, that whole year round we are only working towards getting the voters into the list by participating, joining with the government. So, we need some kind of a financial backup. That is a very vague word that I've thrown around. I don't know what it is going to be, but just that every kind of support would really help us from there. Like the whole AAP movement, it got a wonderful kickoff because of the NRI support. And if the electoral process campaign gets support from all of you, I'm sure that it's just going to be dynamic.
That is really true, and I hope more and more NRIs will join this campaign. And if anyone is interested and want to participate in this campaign, how they can reach you?
Yeah, so you know what? We are trying to now, we are just waiting for tomorrow's High Court order. After that, we've decided that we'll have an umbrella organization in which, we are going to divide the various works that are required to be done for this electoral rules. So anybody who's interested should get in touch with me on vinitapune@gmail.com, vinitapune@gmail.com, and then we'll keep on interacting and then crystallizing into a movement. Basically, I want to make this into a citizen movement all over India so that we have the electoral rolls in place for the next time's election. So any NRI who's interested, please tell them to email me at vinitapune@gmail.com.
Sure, definitely. And so you guys are planning for an umbrella organization, and that's going to operate throughout the country. Could be more in terms of an electoral reform, right?
Yes. We're wanting to make Pune a pilot project. Already the Voter for Better India has in place an amazing presentation of how to go about it for 100% voters list registration, including the implementation. So anybody is interested, we can send them the presentation, and if we all can help. We are talking about voting centers wherein people can come from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. to get their votes registered, and so on and so forth. So in fact, I will send you the presentation first on your email. Please share it with others and see how we can improve.
Sure, definitely. Thanks a lot, Vinita Garu, and I really hope more and more people will join in this process of electoral reforms, because it looks like this is the need of the hour to get a right candidate or right representative for the country. And thanks a lot for spending your time with us and for valuing.
Thank you so much. No, I should thank you for inviting me and amplifying my voice. Really, thanks so much to you.
Yes, thank you, and have a wonderful day.
Oh, right. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Friends, if you liked today's show, please go to youtube.com/NRI Samay and click on the subscribe button. You will get notified every time we publish a new show. And you can also like us on our social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, and Google+.